Hey guys, thanks for tuning in again. My name is Xanad, and today we're going to talk about this beautiful instrument right here, the Ibanez GB10EM. So this is a signature model for George Benson, one of the greatest jazz players out there, and it's actually one of the most cheapest jazz boxes you can get at the moment. So before we start talking about this guitar specifically, I wanted to talk to you about the history of Ibanez for a second. Because we all think that Ibanez made pointy guitars, shredders, and wizard necks. But in fact, they actually started as a lawsuit era company, which means they started manufacturing 50s and 60s Gibsons and 50s and 60s Les Pauls. Copies. And shortly after that, they got interested because people started to like those guitars a lot. And they really had good craftsmanship. So they utilized the opportunity to make their own guitars. And to avoid legal actions from other companies. But don't quote me on anything like this. I'm not Keith Williams. I don't do a lot of research. So yeah, don't quote me on that. But anyways, what I've heard is from a lot of George Benson interviews is that George actually saw a couple of Ibanez guitars in the shelves of some music shops, and he quite enjoyed them. But they were, again, Gibson copies and all that. And all of a sudden, some people from Ibanez from Japan actually saw George Benson play live, and they talked to him backstage and they said, listen, we want new players. We're looking for new players. We need feedback for guitars. So would you be interested in us building you a signature guitar? And George Benson said yes immediately because he knew the brand. He knew that their craftsmanship was good, and he trusted them. So he went to Japan, and I believe in June of 1977, that's when George Benson came up with his first signature guitar. And I think it was something like this, but of course made in Japan and all that jazz. So that basically means is that George Benson is technically the longest running signature artist for Ibanez. And I believe he must be the second in the world because Les Paul played his Les Pauls. And so yeah, George Benson has been working with Ibanez for 40 years. And there's a lot of iterations of these guitars. There's bigger jazz boxes. A lot of people look after vintage Ibanezes and they say they're the best guitars ever. But when I actually got a hold of this, and mind you, this is like the cheapest jazz box you can get. It played wonderful. It sounded wonderful, and I'm totally blown away by this guitar. It's just amazing. No one's paying me to say this. It's just my own opinion. It's a beautiful guitar. There's something we can do. If you're someone that is interested in Ibanez semi-hollows and hollow bodies, let's try to revive the whole thing, because I haven't seen a lot of players play Ibanez hollow bodies or semi-hollow bodies. So my goal is to revive the whole line of semi-hollows and hollow bodies. Maybe a lot of people play them, but I haven't seen many players online using them. They're great guitars, and they need a lot more attention. So technically Ibanez started as a jazz company because they also had other artists, like other big artists like Pat Metheny. He has a signature model, and also John Scofield also has a signature model. And yeah, the JSM 10 is like my favorite guitar. I've never played one, but it looks amazing and it sounds amazing, and I really want to get a hold of that one. Ibanez is jazzier than you think, and I think they're doing a great job at it. So without further ado, let's finally talk about this guitar. So in my channel's fashion, we're going to start with the headstock. As you can see, it's a very proportionate headstock. It doesn't look out of place, and it has the George Benson signature logo here. It has the old Ibanez logo, which I really enjoy. It has a high gloss finish, and I mean, I love the Ibanez truss rod cover because you can just like open it up with a pick, and that's it. Adjust the truss rod, close it back up, and you don't even need to pull out a screwdriver for this. So I really like that design. In the back, we have no-name tuners, but I honestly, I think I've only tuned this guitar about a handful of times, and I've had it for like 3 months now. So they're really decent. They turn really smoothly. They keep the guitar in tune, and that's what matters. And the nut, I'm not quite sure what the nut is made out of. It might be some synthetic bone, but it's cut really well. Nothing binds. You don't hear any noises when you tune the guitar. So again, everything's fine over there. So now for my favorite part, the neck of the guitar, because like this is what you grab and this is what you connect with. The scale length is a Gibson scale length, 24.75 inches. The radius on this is a 12-inch radius, so very comfortable to play, and it's really, really easy. It just flows like crazy, and I really enjoy it. The frets themselves are medium-sized frets, and I mean, they're perfectly fine. They're smooth, means that they're polished. The fret ends are not sharp at all, which means you can slide your hand and you're not going to cut yourself. And I mean, that's all that you want from a fretwork and all that. No high frets, none of the notes choke, and the action is pretty low. I don't know if you can tell, but the action is pretty low on this, as it should be. Now, the interesting part is the wood choices for this guitar. For example, the neck is a Nyato neck, and it's the first Nyato neck that I play. Nyato, did I say that right? I don't know. And the other interesting part is the fretboard, which is walnut. And I've never seen and played a guitar with a walnut fretboard, but yeah, it looks like this, and it feels really smooth. It actually feels a little bit like ebony, which I like a lot. And the bridge is also made out of walnut, maybe from the same piece, I don't know. You got these beautiful inlays right here, and I really enjoy that they also did an inlay on the first fret. I think that looks really classy. The neck shape, I think it's a D profile. It's not thick, but it's not thin either, and it doesn't feel thin because I think it's flat, because it's flat back here. It makes it feel a little bit bigger, but for all the jazz lines and all that, it's perfect. I mean, this would be a really comfortable neck for any player, I believe. So overall, the neck area, perfectly fine. I could gig this, I could play this all day. It's perfect. Now, talking about interesting woods, the body and the sides are made out of linden. And again, I don't know what linden is, but it feels solid and it resonates really well. So again, I don't know what linden is, but I mean, it sounds good, it looks good, feels sturdy. In fact, the whole guitar feels very sturdy. It's a light guitar, but it feels really well built. And it's not going to fall into pieces when you gig it or something like that. And I think that's what George Benson said. He was like, I need you to build me a guitar that doesn't just fall apart when I play it. Because he used to play old Gibsons, and he was like, the bridge would go down, and you would have to send it to a luthier, and that's going to cost money. So that's why he was really keen on working with a company that will build him a solid guitar. And I think they did an incredible job. And again, this is like the cheapest model you can get. I think it's made in Indonesia, but there's also like a couple of George Benson models that are made in Japan, and they're fantastic. Now we have this tailpiece right here, and I mean, it looks stunning. I really like these motifs. Some people don't enjoy them and they just swap it out, but I think this is just beautiful. The guitar itself is a little bit classy, and then if you hide this, but if you show this, then it just looks a little bit more flashy, so to say. As I said, also the bridge is walnut, and there's also a couple of inlays around, I mean, here on the bottom of the bridge. I really like how it looks. I mean, just the vibe of this guitar is cool. We also have F-holes, and they're pretty well routed out. I don't see any like rough edges, or I don't see any like wood chips or anything like that. I mean, it's very well built. I have to say that. I mean, I might sound like a shill, but it's not the case. So now we're going to talk about these pickups, and as you can see, they quite resemble mini humbucker, but they're floating pickups, and Ibanez calls them magic touch pickups, and I really enjoy them. They're very dynamic, especially the neck pickup, and the neck pickup is installed right directly to the neck, and the bridge pickup is installed right here on the scratch plate. Now, one disadvantage with these pickups is that you can't adjust the height, but in this position that the neck pickup is in at the moment, I think it sounds wonderful. But to be honest, the bridge pickup just sounds a little bit underpowered. You're gonna hear later what I'm talking about, but it's a little bit underpowered when it compares to the neck pickup. You're still gonna play the neck pickup most of the times on this guitar, but I mean, that's just the design. And as I said, jazz players rarely use the bridge pickup, but I think it sounds good. You're gonna hear it later. One thing I really enjoy about these pickups is that they're really balanced, but not volume wise, but what I mean is tone wise. So every position is very well balanced. It's not that the bridge is very harsh and the neck is very woolly, or the in between just sounds like the neck pickup. They're really balanced, which I really like. So I can live on this guitar only on the neck pickup and maybe just jump on the middle position sometimes, but I'm totally happy just staying on the neck. So you heard the guitar in the beginning, but I'm going to quickly run through all three positions. And I also have to explain my signal chain and everything because this is a new setup for me. And I'm really excited about that. So the guitar goes straight into my new interface, the iRig Duo by IK Multimedia, and it's running Amplitude 5 on Reaper, which is, I mean, I'm totally in love with Amplitude. It sounds really good. And I'm monitoring with my new monitors that I bought from Henning. He gave me a really good deal. They're the Eve Audio SC205s. Yeah, SC205s. They sound amazing. I actually got goosebumps when I played music through them for the first time. Awesome. And last but not least, I'm recording my voice with a Lewitt LCT140 air condenser microphone. So IK Multimedia really hooked me up with a lot of gear, and also Lewitt gave me a pair of these microphones, and I'm really, really grateful for that. And now I got a really good setup for what I need, and I'm really excited about that. So without further ado, the guitar is plugged straight into the interface, and then on Amplitude I've just pulled up a Fender Deluxe Reverb, and the neck pickup sounds like this. Actually, I saw a video and George Benson was talking about his song Affirmation, and he was like, well, I played through a Fender Twin, I think, and the funny thing is that he left the tremolo open, which means he had a tremolo effect and he didn't even notice. He was just playing it, felt good. So let me just add some tremolo and see how that sounds. I mean, it's really, really fun to play. You can get lost in the tones and everything. So jump to the middle position, which I would mostly use for more like rhythmic stuff, something like this. That's a lot of reverb, but I can't play without reverb, so yeah. So let's jump to the bridge pickup and see how that sounds. I actually would like to use this more like in a bluesy context or just open chords, because it sounds really open and it's not bright at all. Even if I play closer to the bridge like this. And that's what I mean when I said it's balanced, tonally speaking, because it's not really bright and the neck is not too woolly either. So I really like the balance of these pickups. So let me show you the volume difference that I was talking about. So this is the bridge pickup, full on, and this is the neck. I mean, there's a lot of body added with this. It might not be volume. I just feel that it's weaker, but in a good way, because you can use overdrive with it. I mean, that probably works too. But we're not going to try it in this video, maybe in another video. So my review of this guitar is completely positive, as you can tell. I mean, I love the tones, I love the playability of it, I love the way it looks. This antique amber finish is just gorgeous. The knobs are pretty cool as well. They have this rough texture to them that you can grab them. And I mean, it's hard to beat. So the only criticism that I can give is that it doesn't come with a gig bag. And the guitar right now, I think, retails for $699, and I say they can easily bump the price to $730, or keep it at $699 and just add some sort of like gig bag or even case for it. I mean, even at $750, this guitar is very reasonable for that price. Because as I said, the playability is great, it sounds great, it looks great. So if Ibanez can add like a solid gig bag or something like that for like 30 to 40 euros more, it would be a killer guitar. I mean, it's a killer deal for $699. Don't get me wrong, but I would love to gig this guitar. So the first thing that comes to mind is a gig bag. And yeah, so I'm really blown away by this guitar, as you can probably tell. And I'm looking forward to doing more content and to working more with Ibanez with guitars that have F-holes in them. So if there's anything you want to say about this guitar, if you have any questions, just leave a comment under the comment section down below. And if you want to support my channel and support my journey here on YouTube, best thing you can do is subscribe to my channel, leave a like, interact, leave a dislike. That's what Andy says all the time. And leave a comment. Just interact with me. I read all the comments, and I'm really looking forward to what the future holds with this channel. I'm really motivated, especially after going to 42 Gear Street, which I'm going to make a separate video talking about the whole experience, which is awesome. And yeah, so subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment, and I will catch you with the next video. Cheers.